I had this feeling of restlessness and feeling that I needed to do something, something to stay busy, and I got the idea of using my older artwork, the fireman paintings that I had done years before, as a way to create a new piece of art that would somehow recognize these heroes. And I took 3 of the paintings and I made stencils of the images and went to Mood Fabric Store and bought like every color of felt that I could find, and tons of thread and sewing needles, and I started cutting these silhouettes of firemen out and sewing patches. The first one I made came out really cool and had such a therapeutic effect on me that I decided to make more, and the more I made, the better I felt. And I didn't really have a goal of what I was doing with these patches. I just thought, maybe I would put them on t-shirts or on handbags just as a show of support. I had a friend in my building who made these t-shirts that had I Heart NYFD based on the Milton Glaser I Heart New York shirt logo, and I thought that was a really cool way to show support and to do something. So at first it started like that, and the more I did it, the more the idea came into focus that I wanted to invite, friends over and neighbors, and have sewing circles as a way to talk and keep busy and create something during this really insane time in New York. I started out by holding sewing circles in my apartment in those couple months after 9/11, and at first it was just friends coming together to sew patches and talk about feelings and gossip and work through some of the stress and the anger and confusion that we were all feeling. And eventually, the more patches we made, the more the project kind of came into focus for me, and I decided that I wanted to make this into a 343 hand-sewn patch memorial to remember these guys. All Hands was a rewarding experience on many levels. For one, it allowed me and my friends in my community to explore this sort of therapeutic aspect of making art, to relieve stress in real time as a coping mechanism. And so the collaborative aspect in that sense was really rewarding. And in another sense, it was special. It was a special project because the whole piece we were making a memorial, something to remember this moment and the loss. And it allowed the people that sewed to have a very concrete idea of how many people 343 people actually is. There were several thousand people that lost their lives that day, but each patch took such a long time, and to make 343 took forever. I mean, it took 2 months and a lot of needle pricks and a lot of stitching, and kept us really busy and occupied. And so to finish it and to have them all up and to see them all was sort of mind-blowing, just to be like, that's a lot of people that lost their lives. And some people, my friends and neighbors and family, everybody came together, and musician and artist friends that I had, and some people took the patches and the raw patches and sent them to their families in other states, so people in California and Utah and other places could feel connected to New York City and what we were going through. And so in that regard, it was powerful because it brought a lot of people together from all over the place, kind of creating one expression. It was really, really neat. It was a really tough time for New York, but I also think back on it as a real golden moment when New Yorkers really came together in a beautiful way. It was inspiring to feel the love people in this city had for each other on the street that day, and the gentle sort of energy that was going around all this chaos. And in the weeks that followed, I'll never forget the bond that I felt towards my city, seeing people help each other, comforting each other, and getting through that awful experience together made me really proud of New York City. I'd really like to take projects like All Hands to others around the country and in other countries, as a way of bringing communities together, because there's always going to be natural catastrophes and disasters, and uprisings, and there's always going to be turmoil in the world, whether it's man-made or natural. And I just feel like I'd like to bring a creative outlet to different stricken communities across the globe, getting people to use creativity and to nudge people to respond creatively to adversity, because I think it can be a really powerful healing experience. I could see this project leading to other all-hands projects that encourage people to make art as a way to heal themselves and also as a way to bring people together to create together. Sewing circles really worked for all hands. It seems like such an American tradition, like in Middle America, I think of sewing circles, and the act of sewing in a group is such a beautiful thing. I think of quilters and the camaraderie that goes into making something. This special energy feeds itself and creates an environment of collaboration, and it's conducive to warm conversation and can have a powerful healing effect. And basically, I just think making art builds self-esteem and bonds people together and creates a better world. One aspect of All Hands that I found really rewarding was I felt like there was a lot of room for people to express themselves, individually and creatively. Even though I would give people the background and the two pieces, everybody kind of put them together, in their own way, and there was a lot of room for individual expression, whether it was in the stitching or in the layout of how they put the silhouette against the background, and everybody brought their own style to it. So to see it all come together and have so many different different styles all combining to make one statement was one of the more powerful aspects of the project. So as All Hands started to come together and really take focus in becoming a memorial, it was a couple months after 9/11, I decided that I wanted to share All Hands with the city, and I had two sort of benefit shows, one out in Williamsburg where it was a night of music and art, and we put all the patches up in a small little room, and one of my bands played, and we raised some money and sold some handbags with fireman patches and raised some awareness. And then after the Williamsburg show, Margaret Bodell got involved, and she really went to bat for the project to be shown in Manhattan, and also to help me get some press and get some awareness, and as part of the healing process for the whole city, just get All Hands out there. As All Hands came together and came into focus, and we got all the patches done in the 2 months following 9/11, my friends and I had an idea of let's do a night of art and music out in Williamsburg, and show the Patch Memorial and have bands play, and so we had, in October of 2001, we had a show out in Williamsburg. We put all the patches up in a small gallery, and across the street we had a night of music and just a night of remembrance, and it was a really great night. And after that show in Williamsburg, I reached out to somebody in the art community in Manhattan that I had respected, Margaret Bodell, who's an art dealer, and I called her one day out of the blue. I didn't know her, but I called her and explained the project to her, and she came right over to my apartment and saw the work and was blown away, and immediately got involved and went to bat for the project, and gave All Hands another showing in Chelsea, which turned out to be a great evening. We put all the patches up on one long wall, and my friends and my community came out, and the firefighters from Ladder Company 3 came out, and it was just a great night of remembrance and a really special event.